Taryl here. Today I'm going to explain about electric PTO clutches and the differences in them and how to adjust them. You can only adjust certain ones. So I brought down some examples of some different electric PTO clutches. And look at them. They're all different. We get this a lot. People just think they're all the same. They're not all the same. There's a lot of factors that go into these PTO clutches. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of different PTO clutches for lawnmowers. And if you take a look at these, you can obviously see the differences. The difference in the pulley diameter. For one, look at the diameter of the pulleys on these. And that is going to affect the blade tip speed. Because all this stuff is all figured out mathematically. The heights, the different heights where the pulley is. See how this pulley is a lot shallower than this one. The spacing on them. So that's a factor to keep in mind. So not all these clutches are interchangeable. They're all different. Now, these PTO clutches that are bolted together, that has springs in them, these are adjustable. You can adjust them. See, here's another one. And here's another one. These are all adjustable. These type of clutches that don't have any type of springs or visible hardware on them are non-adjustable. You cannot adjust these. So when they wear out, you have to replace them. You cannot fix them. There's no repair parts for them. Now, all one of these PTO clutches is just a giant electric magnet. That's all it is. It's just a big magnet. And I'm going to take one apart here if I can get it apart. And I could show you. This one's fighting me like the devil. So this is what the inside of one of these looks like in case you've never seen it. This is the magnet right here. This is a big electric magnet. That's where your power comes in, your 12 volts. This is a clutch disc, and this is the other half of the clutch disc. So when you engage it, the electric magnet pulls this tight against here. So you have a gap like this, and then when you engage it, the electric magnet pulls it together and starts spinning this. And then your belt is on here, and that's what starts spinning the blades. And then when you de-energize the electric clutch, the magnet, then it separates. And then you have a little space in there. Because the crankshaft is running through here, so this is spinning. That's why it's got bearings on it. So the engine's running. You got it like this. You energize it. It slams against here, starts spinning. So generally what happens is this wears down to where it's not going to make contact anymore. A lot of times you'll just see a little bit of sparks coming out of there because it's just barely rubbing on it. So it's wore out. You have to replace it. Another thing we see is dirt and sand and stuff. Debris gets in here. And since this thing is spinning around, you know, there's a gap between here and here. So if you have debris in there, it'll start spinning around, and that debris acts like sandpaper, and it'll just wear right through here. And it'll expose all the copper wires in the magnet. And then it'll short out. And of course, this is an expensive part. Now, a lot of them will have a sticker on the back. And that's the part number. So if you were to look up that number, Giggle search it online, it'll show you this clutch, what it is. And this is a Warner clutch by Dana. And then they have another clutch which is called Ogura, which is a Japanese clutch. So that's how these clutches work. Just a big electric magnet. And again, these type with no hardware are non-adjustable. You cannot adjust it. There's no way to adjust it. Now these, with the hardware and the springs, you can adjust it. Now if you notice, there's 3 little windows in here. And if you look, there's a gap right in here. There's a gap in here. And as you tighten these nuts, these 3 nuts, you'll close that gap. So, if you have a clutch that is intermittently kicking out, and it's this type of clutch with the springs on it, all you have to do is tighten these down, close up that gap, and it should start working again. Now you notice I said it should start working again, as long as you don't have any other issues in that clutch. So a lot of times the clutch will disengage when it gets hot. So you may be cutting along and it's fine, and all of a sudden it kicks out. You disengage the PTO switch, you engage it again, it might kick on again for a little bit, and then it might kick out because the magnet is not holding enough pressure to close up that gap because the gap is too big. Now, there's a lot of different discussions about what the clearance should be, and it could be anywhere from 10 thousandths to 14 thousandths. So, if you're not sure, go with the thicker one, 14. So you just would stick the feeler gauge in there, and then you would tighten that down a little bit. Then you go to the next window and tighten it a little, because you want to tighten it evenly until you get some drag on that feeler gauge. You don't want it tight, you just want to get a little bit of drag on it. And that's how you would adjust the clutch. Now I know on some mowers that has a clutch like this, where the clutch plate actually bolts to the engine block. It has to be bolted on the mower for you to adjust it through the windows. This clutch you can adjust on the bench. This one just bolts to the crankshaft. So you could adjust this on the bench, or you can adjust it on the mower. Same with this one. This one is bolted on to the crankshaft. It doesn't mount to the engine block. The ones that mount to the engine block, like this one here, if you notice, it's got a lot of play. This one has to be bolted on the engine in order for you to adjust it. And if you notice, you have the little windows here for that. So, I hope that helps you in understanding how these electric PTO clutches work. If you like this video, hit the subscribe and the like button. We'd like you to do that if you haven't already subscribed. Follow me with your PTO clutches on Facebook, Instagram, and soon to be banned TikTok. Time's running out. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Time's running out on TikTok. Check out our web store. We got all kinds of stuff for sale. Like this beautiful dinosaur juice t-shirt, which I got dirty. Hats, spark plug necklace. Got other stuff, lubricants and silicone and gel lube and all kinds of stuff. Just check it out. Just go there and check it out and look at it. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Showing you the differences about clutches and explaining them to you. They're not all the same. Hey, buddy, you got clutch. I need clutch for my mower. They're all the same. Just go in the back and get one. They're all the same. No, they're not, mister.